Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a 3 versus 3 on Caumont Levant, and in this one I'm going to be playing with the 716th Infantry Division. So following on from my division video, I wanted to just play them out, show their sort of play style. I love this division, so yeah, just any opportunity to play them is just really fun. Let's switch it around to my point of view. We'll go over to our side of the map. And as you can see, there are some interesting settings in this one. I joined a random lobby. I didn't really pay attention to the settings too much, but we can see we have an hour game, or an hour game timer, with 5,000 victory points to achieve, which is a lot. Like a hell of a lot. Especially when you think like a normal game, you only have 2,000 or 2,500. So it's going to take at least twice as long to win. But either way, wasn't too phased. I just thought it would be a nice opportunity to show off the division to its full potential. And as you can see, I'm already starting to put down a few units. So starting with the sort of generic combo, it's going to be the Fusilier, Osttruppen, Command Infantry combo. With the Pak 36s, I've got an MG 34. I actually would probably have an IG-18 there normally, but in this case I brought in the MG because the MG works quite well in these buildings. So when you're attacking all the way into this compound, what it allows you to do is provide covering fire, and your infantry can much easier get all the way up there. So either way, off we go. Let's have a look at these units. Command coming in late there just to assist the MG squad that was going to that building. I've got all of these Osttruppen trying to push all the way up. Didn't have a command with them. Fusiliers and MGs taking up the buildings behind. Then I've got an AT gun for the mid. That's actually the Pak 40. Bringing in the Pak 40 at the start of the game is, in my opinion, one of the most potent things you can do with the 716th and the 352nd. Those Pak 40s can really do work. So I've got a Grenadier with that just to give it the extra veterancy. A couple of Osttruppen squads for the left side. I've got the IG-18 here alongside a Pak 36 and some Fusiliers. I've also got the Command Infantry coming in for that left side as well, alongside an MG-34. Now this was an interesting push coming in here from Garrensters. He went for the triple Panzer 35 push with his 21st Panzer, as well as the two 259s. He's also got some of these U304s with Panzer Grenadiers. Osttruppen got there first and sponged a lot of the hits, which did allow him to get quite far up, and we're pushing incredibly hard over on this side. Unfortunately, on this left side, what happens is the M8 Greyhound and Abrams takes out both the IG and the Pak 37 together, as you can see. Basically, they hit one, and I think the HE basically killed the other. So I lost both of those because I unloaded them like on top of each other, so that was a big mistake from me at the start of the game. But either way, with this combined push of myself and Garrensters, we're making a lot of ground. Of course, since I've made so much ground, I may as well have the MG-34 and the Fusiliers move forwards. Panzer 35Ss take out the M22, and the 259s definitely putting on the pressure. So this triple tank strategy is something that's very specific to the 21st Panzer in my opinion, but this is working very well in this case. Garrenster's definitely taken advantage of this left side. Kind of ignored trying to push into this town where he probably knew he would have trouble. The Pak 40 going to be taking out the M8 Greyhound there. That's going to force the M4 to fall back as he doesn't want to drive directly into the Pak 40. So doing quite well at the start, and we do have the +1, 52%. I believe on this left side, David Vincent was being put under pressure quite significantly, so wasn't taking as much ground as he probably needed to. So just consolidating our position here now, getting the Grenadier into position with the MG34. I guess the only criticism of Garenster's sort of push here was that he didn't have any command with it. Like if one of these was a Befehl Panzer 35S, that probably would have been ideal, and then it would have all been fine. He is very light on this right side though. You can see that if our opponent, the 101st player, had pushed through, he wouldn't have come up against much resistance for sure. So it was a risk going for this play, but it seemed to pay off. And now he's got multiple Panzer 35s engaging with the M22 again. Or at least he should have. This Panzer 35 needs to be microed so that it doesn't fire at the M3. There we go. Now Panzer 4C coming in. Really nice choice of unit. Basically like an IG-18 on wheels. Really good for taking out these M1919s. And you can see that these M1919s were actually stacked on top of each other. I'm not sure 101st player was incredibly experienced. But I'm here trying to deal with the 4th armoured player, and well, this M1 gun, by firing at my SDKFZ, manages to one-shot stun the 88. So I've just got to be a little bit worried about the M4 kind of charging it down, which is definitely an opportunity for the 4th armoured player. I do of course have the Pak 40 covering it as well. Should have had the Grenadier kind of following that, but was just sat in that building for now. B2 is moving up to assist, as I do want to kind of push into this forest here. Having a B2 being able to like fire into the side of the tree line would be a quite good addition. Fusiliers have moved up. They do spot a couple of infantry squads, allowing David Vincent to engage with his Panzer Grenadiers. And on this right side, looks like Vielfachwerfer is going to be the choice unit of Galensters. Alright, so Hellcat has arrived, and that's going to be starting to try and take out some of the half tracks of Galensters. Pak 40 is having its first shots at the M4. Of course, without having the extra veterancy there, it's not very accurate whatsoever. Anything that comes into range of this 88 is going to get blown up, and there goes a half track on the left side. Just getting my Grenadier into range to stop these Fusiliers from surrendering. So just going to run away from that engagement, since there are two 3-inch mortars firing away. Going to have to find a decent counter to those mortars. Mortars quite prevalent throughout this game. I've brought up some infantry for this right side just to help defend that. But as you can see, more tanks on the way. B2 Panzer 35S combo coming up to try and deal with the centre of the map, covered by both the Pak 40 and the Black 88. Should be able to make quite a lot of headway. As you can see, the B2 is doing a lot of damage to those infantry squads, and that's exactly what I like to see. That's what the B2s are really good at, and even picking up the extra veterancy there as it moves into the range of the Grenadier. So the 88 here, that's going to start firing at this grasshopper. Decent chance to force that to fall back, which is nice. And here I want to kind of save my Panzer 35s from being killed by the M1 gun, so I'm going to use both the Pak 40 and the 88 to pin that down. I do have the B2 on the way, just as my 88's about to fire though. Does get hidden again. So two M1 guns here, left on 1 health. Fusiliers on the right side get taken out, but that M1 gun's going to die as the 88 does get into range. Do have a couple of Pak 36s on the way, and the reason I'm still using Pak 36s at this point, even though we're pretty close to phase B, is because they're using these Scots and also the Hellcats. And Hellcats only have 4 armor. So these packs are actually effective enough to penetrate them. Pack 40 is having another go at taking on the M4. And the Osttroop in here, they're moving into this engagement with the rifles. But as you can see, the B2 has them covered. Osttroop going to make them surrender. M4 somehow managing to survive the majority of those shots, as well as direct bounces, which was quite something. Osttroop with an attack move order on this right side, being bullet sponges for us. And we've solidified quite a solid position in the middle of the map here now. +1, 53%, but still 50 minutes until victory, if that's the case. So knowing that this is such a long map, and the fact that we have such a high score to get up to, I know I've got to push really hard and finish it as soon as possible. I managed to take out the M1 gun in this tree line thanks to the Osttroop, which was nice, and we've managed to break through the majority of the infantry in this tree line, and that's actually going to end up making the 4th armoured player opposing me surrender. So we've done a decent job. The M4 Abrams here, controlled by the AI, is just going to suicide straight into the line of sight of my Befehl 35S and the Pack 40. Does manage to one-shot the Befehl 35S, which is unfortunate. But 88 still doing work as they take out an armoured leader. B2's doing a decent job of taking out the half-tracks and the armoured leader here. And I've also got the other B2 on the left side, but this M4 Abrams, that's going to come up, take out the B2 there. And now this B2 is being hit by an AT gun. Hoping I could pin that down in time, and just about managed to. Now I'm being attacked by an opposing tank, so I want to try and get out of line of sight. Because that's an M4, and if they force my B2 to fall back, who knows where it will go. Finally the M4 goes down. 13 AP Bauer finally beats 10 armor. Should have been a lot quicker in my opinion, honestly, but you can't complain. Finally got the kill. Pack 37. These are the guns that I was talking about, not Pack 36s. And really good for just cleaning up the half-tracks, the M8 Scots and the Hellcats that they might be throwing at me. So as well as all this lot, got some Osttroop coming up with the B2s. Pack 40 still doing damage down the road as well. And I brought up an IG-18 to assist with taking care of some of the infantry in these tree lines as well. I've also brought over an IG-18 to this left side, and the reason I brought it to that location specifically is so that I had line of sight onto this Pack 75mm and also possibly the mortar. So gonna go for that little kill there. B2 does get taken out by the AT gun as it shows itself. I'm really trying to kill off this mortar. You can see the Pack 40 alongside the IG-18 make short work of that. Osttroop in the open here, you can see they're still sponging bullets. And that's the beauty of the Osttroop at least. And feel they are being pinned down by an enemy Bofors. And here goes the Vielfachwerfer once again. I did bring up an MG34 for this right side, and so far it has been very helpful. Keeping that in the building there. IG-18 ready to fire again. And we also see a Vielfachwerfer hitting this area. But what's going to happen in the mid? M4 comes up, uses its 15 HE power main gun to destroy my IG-18, and oh, it lived for a little while, but IG-18's letting me down. This one I think manages to get the kill onto the airborne pack there just about. But I'm just looking for a way to punch through at the moment. I know that in order to do so, I've probably got to take up this M4. And I've currently just got a B2 rolling up. Do of course still have the 88, which helps us control the sky and kill units at long range, but that's just attack moving to the right side to prevent the reinforcements from the AI that are currently coming in. As well as that, I do have the LEFHs that have now arrived. They're going to help me again take care of some of the long-standing units that are in my way. I love how these guys sound as they fire. They're pretty badass. Like old school artillery guns from like Napoleon or something. That's what they look like. There, M4 comes into line of sight with the 88. Very big mistake by the AI. And currently we're at 57% territory. So we need like 1 more percent. Then we're at +2. We can really start counting down our victory. Bantam also goes down to the 88. 88's really been doing work, as well as the Pak 40 as always. Now it's interesting because I feel like the best way to counter this is probably just, you know, bomb the Pak 40s and also the 88s early on. Because even with a bomber, you can still break through if there's only one 88 and bomb that 88 without being stunned and forced to fall back. There are certain units that can be one-shot, like forced fallback with the 88s, but in general, yeah, coming in and bombing that would have been a good idea. And you can also take care of these Pak 40s. It would have given the opponents a lot more pressure in this game, but they haven't so far. And I'm using my artillery here, the LFHs, to assist with David Vincent on the left side of pinning down these air landing, which he seems to have been whittled down to already. There's some airborne paras coming in here. They're going to be engaged by my Osttruppen. And since he's moving these airborne paras while he's fighting, the Osttruppen are actually doing a reasonable amount of damage to the airborne paras, and that's an absolute waste for him. Grenfjord could probably finish them off at this point, but I have some more infantry on the way. My Osttruppen, I think on his right side, eventually just died. I'm not too worried about that. Italian infantry arriving. These guys are going to take back this forest for good and hopefully kill off this Tetrarch. That's what I was looking to do with the 1,500 meter range Panzerfaust. LEFHs were still firing, finally stopped them. They have really, really large salvos. If you just let them keep firing, they will. And that's definitely something to consider when using those FKs, or LEFHs, sorry, as well as other artillery units. So here comes another 88. This one's just driving straight up the mid-road. I wanted to unload it as far up as I could in order to be able to fire all the way down towards this town, for example. On the right side, glider rifles surrendered. Looks like Garinster is making a lot of progress now. The artillery has been found, and you can see the M1 howitzer there. Only on 1 health. I believe the other mortars on this side had already been beaten quite heavily. And it's funny how, with all of these machine guns, that he is still alive at this point. And we see the AI putting a lot of pressure on this right reinforcement point that both myself and Gannisters are going to have to deal with. But I redirect my Flak 88 to the right side, as I noticed that's where all of the reinforcements are coming from, and most of these half tracks can become pretty unbearable to deal with if you don't have any significant AT. So 88 is going to fill that job. See the B2 take out the mortar on this side. I also want to take out the other mortar. Bring up back 40, that takes out the Tetrarch CS as well. So on the opposing side of things, you can see that because the 6th Airborne player is being flanked, he's wanting a bit of help here, which makes sense. I mean, there is a Cromwell 5 on the way, and that can definitely engage my B2 at that range. So I've got to be careful. And what I'm actually going to do, I've got this just on a reverse order to try and get through this tree line. I noticed that the Cromwell 5 is only like, well, doesn't have any veterancy, so I can exploit that. I know it's going to miss quite a lot. Just have it like reverse very slowly. It's going to take him a while to get into range since he's just coming in and out of the 1,000 meter range. And yeah, just try and get back as far as I can. Right, in the meantime, 88, that is continuously getting kills here. We also saw the Pack 40 damage the M5A1, my Italian infantry. Some more of it is breaking through in the mid now, and the M5A1 there was finished off. Assault Pioneers in my way. Again, just trying to get through, get the +3 on the go, so that we can shorten the game timer. But currently 30 minutes left until total victory. 17 pounder destroyed on that left side by my artillery here. The 1419s doing the job. Cromwell does get distracted by my Italian infantry, so B2 does make it out alive. Just continues to reverse. But with that, we do see Gerard surrender. And since obviously I'd pushed through the AI quite significantly here, quite easily, having me sort of pushing him on the left flank, it's going to be quite obvious that the 6th Airborne player wants to surrender. The AI does bring in the Tempest to shoot down the HS-129, and is going to have plenty of time on target. But fortunately, just about managed to make him fall back in time with the help of David Vincent's verbal wind there. So I've got a lot of units now, and they're starting to really mount up. The other thing to consider is that the AI really doesn't know how to deal with like in place units properly, so these 88s just rolling up towards them is just going to be devastating for them. And I can really go to town with the 88s and Pack 40s now. So I've got basically more AT guns and so on arriving, so Pack 40 here, Pack 40 there, 88s over here. This Pack 40 like also getting plenty of hits onto different units. So 2 AI on the opposing side now, since the enemy did surrender. The last player alive is the 101st player. So at the moment, Gallenster's doing a decent job with his tank push. You can see these Befehl, or these Panzer 35Ss are really low on HE ammunition because they've been in the game for so long. You can see the 88s though, they're picking up all of these half-track kills from the units coming down the road. Panzer BT are going to be helping engage infantry at close range. It will also allow the Osttruppen to continue forwards, and you can see I'm bringing in more Osttruppen now to fill any gaps. So I've got like a kind of interesting defensive line going on around here. I've got like Pack 40 with infantry in command, then another Pack 40 with infantry in command, and another Pack 40 with infantry in command. And that's kind of created like this outward circle that I'm using to destroy a lot of units at the moment. But the Hellcat going to go down there, as I believe it did get bombed by the Ju-88S. Enemy B-26B Marauder coming in. And I was wondering what that was going for. Ideally, we would see David use his air force like that in order to bomb the 88s rather than these tanks. I mean, there is always a reason to bomb tanks, just so that they do fall back and you don't have to worry about them for a little while. The other thing with like forcing certain units to fall back is you can take advantage of them showing their side armor or rear armor. But yeah, the Flak 88s, if they're allowed to do their work, they will. But currently this 88, I think, completely ran out of ammunition. I don't think you can get a weapon damage with an 88. So it using all of its 18, 15 HE or AP, and then all of its 45, 5 HE value shells is pretty damn impressive. Been alive from the beginning of the game, followed around by the Grenführer, and it's just doing so much work. So B2 now continuing to engage with tanks as well. Pack 40 able to get shots off onto this road, which was pretty damn important. Obviously it's the AI controlling it now, but just being able to kill off the reinforcements as they come down is just really, really strong. You can see that the Cromwell knew he was there as well in this case, but it just didn't matter because the Pack 40 with its 13 AP power, it's going to hit eventually, even if it doesn't have any original veterancy. So here comes the infantry that I ordered, all the way up to the front line, and we're currently at the +3 with the 65% territory. So 16 minutes and 50 seconds until victory. Now I had to bring in an Opel Blitz munition for this 88, so I'm going to be doing that. I also of course have the Opel Blitz munition that's resupplying the LEFHs. Panzer B2 going to be finding itself some more targets and just taking out those armoured rifles there. Probably the biggest threat to the B2, so made sure I focus them down. And then just have my local units come and take the ground. So Osttruppen just going to continue to push through here, find all of this infantry, and then I can get the B2 to come up and help out. I believe that was some bombs came in. She wrecked my SDKFZ, but not going to really need that from this point. 3 88s just rolling up next to each other is such a force to be reckoned with. There isn't really much you can do about it, other than maybe bomb it with those very good, resilient bombers. But yeah, anything on the ground really can't deal with it very well. Maybe the M4 105 mils, but the AI is not good enough to do that. And of course we are still playing against AI on two fronts. We have the 4th Armoured and 6th Airborne player both playing as AI now since they left the game. Pack 40 going to deal with the Challenger there. Another M1 gun goes down to an 88. And this is just opening up the map so damn much. It really is. Just waiting for reinforcements to arrive at this point. There is quite a way to go to the front line because we're so far pushed up. Again, something to consider in your own games is how close are you to actually the enemy spawn? Because surely the closer you get to their spawn, the harder it gets, because they can reinforce their units straight away. I don't think it's that big of a thing with Steel Division. But in other games, like the closer you get to like an enemy space or whatever, the more resistance you get. And it's the same sort of that occurs here. Again, not as bad as you may think, but especially when you come against an AI, they're going to spam from these land spawns for sure. And trying to do something about that is quite difficult. This Pack 40 is still managing to get shots onto this road, still getting fresh kills here, as you can see. It's pretty crazy. So we've just come over the 2,500 threshold, and that would have probably been game over at this point for any normal game. But since we're building up to 5,000 points, we've still got a solid 13 minutes until victory on the countdown. B-26B Marauder going to come in with the bombs there to hit both the Panzer IV and the town possibly a little bit. Königseiger has arrived on the field. I believe the sort of reason for Garrensters to use this division was primarily the Königsdagger. He wanted to see how well it does. HS-129 just flying about. Going to be trying to get a kill there. Gets hit very hard by AA, unfortunately, and doesn't manage to get its kill off. But Tempest, that's going to come in. Going to get onto the back of it with the ME-109G0, and we get the shoot down. Lovely. 88's helping pin that down and stop it from doing too much. But as you can see, we've consolidated the left side now. David Vincent pushing through. On this right side, however, David Lambert still putting up a fight. So my B2 did go down here. I believe they managed to just about get this M1 gun into line of sight. And that was rather unfortunate because I would have liked to had that B2 continue to push with me throughout. Now the other thing here is the PaK-43 just took out another Challenger, so you can see the wrecks just mounting up. Look at that. Crazy. 2 Cromwells, 2 Challengers, so many points. So the Osttruppen moving up, revealing locations. Then have the artillery slam them on the left side if they're close enough. But on the right side, it's all about the 88s doing the job here. Those Mustangs getting instantly forced to fall back. Fighter Mustang, definitely not going to last too long because of the SDKF Z72. Overall, things going obviously really well. In terms of when both players surrendered and the AI took over, it was pretty much a victory from there. But what was really nice about this game was just generally the strategy and the way that I used the units. It's not too different as to how I would normally do it, but I like using these LEFHs effectively, especially on the left flank, worked out really nicely. Using the combination of Osttruppen and Pioneer Führer with the PaK-40s worked out nice as well. Having multiple of those come in phase B, incredibly cost efficient. Same with the PaK-43, like 125 points, only needed 1 tank to really pay itself off. Now the other thing I have here is an 88 to zoom up this road and try and take advantage of some of the M or 4th Armoured units. So it just kind of turned into a bit of a turkey shoot where both myself and Garrensters were almost competing for kills at this point. AI, of course, just constantly throwing half-tracks, M4s at us. And if they do have the initiative, they will be able to kill this 88 quite easily. So, for example, this M5 gun, it only needs to hit us one more time to kill it off, and it does manage to. It got the jump on us, and won because of that. Bit unfortunate. Still, that's what I get for putting my 88 so far up. M1 goes down on the left side. And since there is obviously this M5 gun here, I decide to reroute the 88 from the right side to the mid and just sort of, again, cover off this road as best I can. So I know that if anything comes out of the tree line here, I will just be able to shoot it straight away with the 88. So now it's saying 9 minutes left on the clock, still at a +3, just trying to make that extra little bit of ground. So I do have the BEO Kubel on the way, 380mm off map. Should be more than enough to create a little bit more of a punch through and allow us to grab that +4. But 88 taking out one of the M8s there. And I think if you want to like basically take on 88s at close range, you really need to be like a coordinated group, and in this case, well, with the AI taking over, definitely not going to happen. HS-129s are coming in though. They're going to go for kills onto the M4s. We've also got kills happening hopefully onto this Rhino, but unfortunately not. M4 does go down. Rhino does not. Now this B-26B Marauder doesn't have much health. after it gets hit quite dramatically by a lot of the 88s. And the ME-109 comes in and finishes it off. That worked out nicely. I had these fighters almost alternate coming in for sort of sorties, I guess. And the Königssteiger and the 88, both just covering the road. That Königssteiger not really going to miss very often at all. But since we've gone over the 75%, we're now at a +4. Currently 5 minutes and 30 seconds until victory. Onwards we go. Now have the 88 on this road as well. That's going to allow me to get into range of the enemy Cromwell and take that out. This Cromwell, I kind of feel like it should have been there from the start of the game, but still a nice unit to have to deal with my 88s. Again, the fire position move is really quite simple to do. You can take full advantage of 88s. Yeah, now it's just a matter of slowly moving forwards the rifles. Some of the other units here, I've got the Google off map. I'm going to try and hit some of these half tracks. IG-18s and the LEFH 1419. They're continuing to pin down enemy infantry here to allow my own Italian infantry to push in. Again, +4, 78%. We're really doing a good job at this point, and we've made a lot of ground. But as you can see, the standard combination is there. Osttruppen, Fusiliers, Command with an AT gun and maybe an IG or /88mm gun. It's doing so well. Especially considering it looked like for most of the game we were going to be stuck behind these trees here. We actually managed to push out and take the majority of the map, which was really, really nice. So just going to keep it towards my perspective as we come to the end of the replay. What happens is David finally decides to surrender, and we leave it there. So after 35 minutes and 57 seconds we have a total victory, and you can see the amount of kills we got there. So best KD goes to me with the 4,815 kills to 1,375 losses. But Garensters also doing a lot of damage. David Vincent maybe not so much. We jump over to the kills. Pack 40 paying itself off so much. So all of the Flak 88s, the Panzer B2. Look at this Flak 88 here. Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. Just the amount of sheer kills that the 88s and Pack 40s get. They pay themselves off twice, maybe 3 times over. It's mental. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the replay. Sorry if some of my commentary didn't make sense, but I'm a bit tired today. But yeah, let me know if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.